Hey guys, Lexi here. Today's video is about how do I know if I'm suppressing emotion or if I'm truly, fully feeling the emotions I'm going through. This is a question I get quite often, and it's a very basic question and is a great question because when we're not in the habit and the practice of really feeling our emotions and what that feels like when they rise up and move through us, then when we actually sit down to explore this idea of being with our feelings and really feeling the intensity of them, we question ourselves. Are we doing it right? Are we really feeling them all the way? Is this working? Is this helping? Am I just suppressing and not realizing it? These are all questions that I used to ask because I didn't have a very good model growing up of how to really move through emotions in a healthy way. So that's the question that's come up today. And the example I will probably use throughout most of this video is going to be with anger, because I really like anger. Anger is a really great emotion to work with. So first of all, the great news is you can't do this wrong. Yay! You can't do it wrong. So if you're trying to get it right, you can relax, be easy on yourself, be gentle, because you can't get it wrong. As long as you have the intention to sit down when you're triggered or to go separate yourself when you're feeling triggered and an emotion is coming up, if you have that intention to go do that purposefully and you're aware of what you're feeling and you go somewhere and you sit and allow it to come up and intend to fully feel it, then however it comes up for you, whatever that looks like is just right. There's no gold star, let's say, for feeling your emotions any longer than you need to, or feeling them for a certain length of time to make sure you got it out, to make sure you got rid of it, so that way it'll never come back again. Because emotions don't work that way, right? They don't work on a linear scale. It's not like you feel your anger, you get it out, and then it's gone. They come in like cycles. So it's more like cycles. You'll feel one layer, and when you start doing this, it'll probably be very intense at first because there's a lot of years that you've built up this, whatever it is, resentment, false beliefs, having to live up to expectations when you were a child. There's so many years of holding on to all these things that make us angry that when you first finally allow your anger to come up and be felt, it's probably going to be pretty intense. But as time goes on, it'll get less and less intense until you realize and see in your life that, oh, hey, that thing that used to bother me, that used to really trigger my anger, isn't really triggering me as much. Or if it is, I'm feeling it, and within 30 seconds, it's peaked, moved through, and I feel better. So what you want to do, should say the goal is to only feel your emotions when it feels better to do so. You don't always have to feel everything when you get triggered or feel it coming on, only if it feels better to. Again, you can't get this wrong. If you decide to do something and it feels like you're suppressing, be gentle with yourself. It's okay. It's okay to suppress emotions because sometimes the situation's not right to be that vulnerable and fully feel. Sometimes you're really just not ready to feel the intensity of what comes up, and so you're willing a little bit and a little bit each time. So a lot of times we have this idea in our mind what it should look like when we're feeling through the emotions, especially with anger. We have an idea that it should come up, be really intense. We should really feel it strongly. It'll peak, it'll move on, and then we'll have this huge peace and relaxation come in. And I'm telling you guys, it actually doesn't always feel like that when you first start doing this. I now, after really, being willing to be with and feel my emotions for many, many years, when I do on occasion have anger triggered, some old beliefs or something I still have activated in my vibration, when I get anger triggered and I allow myself to feel it, it does move through very quickly, usually within a couple minutes. And then I do feel a really deep peace and relaxation afterwards. But it wasn't like that at first. At first, it brought me a bit of relief, but I didn't really feel the peace right afterwards. I felt a little better, and then a little better the next time I did it, and a little more better the next time I did it. And then eventually I got to a place where I had come down so much because I wasn't holding so much pent-up anger that I started to feel more relaxed. And then I started to actually feel some peace come in. And then it was longer and longer in between these periods of being triggered that my emotions would just kind of be easygoing, and I would feel calmer and just much more at ease in my life. So you can't do this wrong. When you're intending to sit down and feel what you're feeling, it feels better for you to do that in that moment. However it happens, whatever comes up for you, even if you feel like you didn't fully get to the core of it, that's okay. You'll get another opportunity. If you still have, whether it's anger or fear, any emotions and you're active in your vibration that you're still kind of suppressing, allow them to just come up naturally. If you don't feel them the way you wanted to feel it the first time, it's okay. Be gentle on yourself. Go do something else, because it's almost guaranteed it's going to be triggered again if it's something you're still holding on to. If there's still something there that wants to be felt and expressed so it can evolve away and move on, and then you can move on too, back into your more aligned, more peaceful state. So basically you would know you're suppressing because you would be doing anything you can to try to tolerate these emotions you don't like, or really ignore. There's intentional ignoring, which is feeling better to focus on something else that feels better, but there's ignoring that's not intentional, whereas you know this thing's over here angering you, controlling you, but you're really just trying not to look at it and not to engage with it. And maybe you're gonna just turn on the TV. Or I was a nail biter. I started biting my nails when I was 5 years old. And that's how I coped with and suppressed most of my emotions. I would swallow them down, like literally gulp and swallow them down, or I would just sit and bite my nails for hours. That's very clear. You guys know you're suppressing. If you are turning to food or drinks, some people like to pour themselves into their work more than is beneficial for them. And you'll know this because it doesn't feel good. So it's okay if you're suppressing, it's okay if you're doing this. It's just if you're having this awareness that this is what you're doing and you don't like this, then you get to choose something different next time. And it's not always easy, because a lot of times we've built up these habits for many, many years. Like I said, I've been biting my nails since I was 5 years old. So when I was really starting to feel through some of this stuff in my late 20s, it's not like I stopped biting my nails and I felt everything and everything was great and I was able to do it every single time from then on. No, it wasn't. I was more willing to not bite my nails in that moment and allow the emotions to come up. But there were times where I just didn't want to look at it, didn't really feel like sitting down and doing anything with it. So I would just turn on the TV and bite my nails, or just bite my nails while doing anything else. And I didn't really feel anything come up. It kind of numbed me out, but it was okay. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Because we always get another opportunity. Always, always, always. When we're ready to let this stuff go, when we're ready to move on to feeling better, these things get triggered and come up, because that is our soul's way of letting us know, hey, you're ready to move on from this. You want more than this. Your desire is for more peace and more ease. And for us to go there, these things have to come up. These emotions have to be triggered. And so that's where I can come in and give some guidance on kind of how to move through that in a way where it's easier. You're easier on yourself. You can't make mistakes. You know somebody who's been there, myself, and you know that it's okay no matter what it looks like. You're supported, and there's no getting it wrong. And it's not easy. It's simple. It sounds simple to sit and feel, and it is a simple concept. But when you haven't been doing that for 20, 30 years, 50 years, it's not easy. It takes a little bit of self-discipline to really sit and be willing to not do that suppression or coping mechanisms you've been doing and allow it to arise. So that's how you can tell if you're suppressing or if you're fully feeling. I mean, fully feeling to me is feeling the intensity. You know, if you're angry and you have that tenseness in your throat, maybe you didn't get to speak up when you were a child when you wanted to, or it's in your heart, in your chest, or it's in your belly, you feel into that intensity. You bring your intention into that place in your body, and you can really imagine it rising up, and imagine, just, feel it. You just allow it to come out and feel it. You don't need to be afraid of your anger. You don't need to be afraid of your fear. It doesn't feel good. But when you're willing to feel it, it will come up in any way it does, for any amount of time it does. It really is under about 10 to 15 minutes though, if you're really feeling it, that it will peak. And you don't have to try to prolong it or hold on to it thinking that you could feel it more and get through it faster, because it doesn't work that way. Whenever it peaks and it moves on and you're done, go do something fun. Go do something else. Go outside. Allow your energy to recharge. Give what you don't want to the earth. Ask it to take away what doesn't serve you. Breathe in some fresh air and move on with your day. And just trust that this process, it just gets easier and easier each time. And every time it gets triggered and it comes up for you, you will know how to handle it. You will know what feels better to you in that moment, in that time. You don't have to prepare. You don't have to plan for it. You don't have to, keep this tool in your back pocket to be sure that you do it right when it comes up at the right time. There's none of that. You don't have to do any of that. Just be willing to feel if it feels better to feel. And if it doesn't, then go do something else. It will be okay. So I hope that helps you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.